killed by the BLA, they say, in a remote controlled IED explosion that has taken place in Majkund near the Bolan Pass a short while ago. We've been speaking with MR Mustikan to get a perspective on what's going on. Thank you very much for joining us. I have more breaking news coming in. The Press Information Bureau in India has just put out information. Let's put that on your screens here. And this is a video that was shared by a handle called Shami_Awan1. This handle claimed that Pakistan has struck the military base in Amritsar with numerous casualties and several critically injured. The video that they were showing was of a forest fire that took place about 4 or 5 years ago. So, a 5-year-old video of a forest fire has been shared in the Pakistanis social media as an attack. Sorry, it's a forest fire from 2024. So, last year's forest fire video is being shared by the Pakistanis, claiming to be a purported attack on the army base in Amritsar. Now, it's good that this is being countered, and it's good that this is being put out, but it also is telling you there are going to be a bunch of people who are just sort of mongerers, okay, haymakers, who are just putting out all sorts of arbitrary crap. Okay, they are always out there, no matter what happens. So, this is the nature of the beast, that is the nonsense platforms that allow you to do whatever you want whenever you want. Okay, and this is what happens. Now, how do you know that this is a real video or not a real video? And it turns out to be it's forest fire. But then, of course, there is a state machinery in Pakistan whose job it is to spread misinformation and disinformation. Let me get Professor Madhav Nalapat into this conversation. Professor Nalapat, now, before I ask you for an overall view, now that we are 36 hours into what has happened, let's get on this specific issue. The Pakistanis are now claiming all sorts of things, that they've destroyed 5 aircraft, they've taken down 2 drones, they've destroyed the Amritsar air base, military base. We've heard this before. We've heard these things in every war that they fought with us. How do we effectively counter this, if at all?
Look, the fact is they're doing it to keep their own public morale, which has collapsed, frankly, from further collapse, I mean, if I may say so. So, one has to ignore these kind of, as you pointed out, false messaging. The reality is, India inflicted a very calibrated and targeted strike on various terror facilities used by terrorists in actions against India. And thereafter, the question is, if Pakistan responded, India would also respond. I mean, I've been a bit skeptical about Pakistan responding, but then they're obviously responding through fake news, talking about Amritsar going up in flames and things like that. So I would like to say, Rishabh, that I think, once we are certain it is fake news. I mean, those in Amritsar will know. There'll be any number of people on social media who will confirm if this is correct, but nothing has happened. So clearly nothing has happened. So the reality is, Rishabh, let them do this, let them keep putting on false stories, but we have done our job. And as you correctly said, if there's a blast in Lahore airport, India had nothing to do with it. The reality is, even in Punjab, the kind of hold of the Potahar province, the part of the Punjab province over the military is resented by non-Potahari Punjabis. So there is a lot of trouble in Pakistan. It's not just been brewing, it's been spilling up, overflow and steaming up. So I would say this kind of thing is going to continue.
Okay.
And if they ever want to accelerate this, it will only accelerate their own downfall. But I would like to say, Rishabh, as long as these reports are completely fake, I think they're meant to be ignored completely.
Okay, but there is an issue, Professor Nalapat, that we are obviously not operating in a vacuum, right? So there is an audience out there that is now trying to figure out what they call are Pakistani claims. And the Pakistani claim, now Now, the Pakistani defense minister made a fool of himself because he claimed that I have heard on social media that we've shot down 2 planes. His source was social media. Okay. Now, as it turned out, the 2 planes that he was referring to on social media were from accidents that took place in 2021. There was another sequence of imagery, photographs of plane parts lying in a field. That was actually from the year 2000. So, it was 25 years old. So, what Asif Munir was claiming that social media is reporting 2 planes have been shot down, those were imagery from either 4 years ago or 25 years ago. So, that's I mean, Pakistanis themselves now know this. But then you have the CNN, for example, coming out and saying that no, we've got French intelligence telling us that Indian aircraft have been shot down. Do we need to respond to all of this? True, untrue, confirm or deny, Professor Nalapat?
Look, obviously the reports are false. We should deny it. But I think what we are doing is studiously ignoring these reports because they are clearly false. And the reality of the situation is that the Pakistan military is in a bind. They did an action. They did not expect such a reaction. Now they do not know what kind of counter move to make, but they are well aware of the fragility of their own country. So I would like to say, Rishabh, that let's not bother about what do I say? Looking through a microscope at all these different claims. It's a waste of time. The reality of the situation is they are desperate to build up some morale in their in their ranks.
Okay.
Even soldiers are getting rested. So that's why you've got all this fake news out there. And my view is ignore it.